NBA action, NCAA action, football action, and action at the gambling table. What would I, of all people, have as advice to give to somebody who owes $50 million? You're about to find out right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Holla. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do at least 3 times a week over the digital airwaves of YouTube. By the way, just to take a moment to show my appreciation and love for all the support that I've been receiving. We continue to climb and have exceeded over 588,000 subscribers, more than 1,500 new subscribers per day spanning months. Can't thank y'all for the love enough. Keep it coming. You know I'm going to keep on coming. Make sure to continue to like and follow the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on YouTube. Just click the bell to get notified of all of our new content, and boom, you'll be the latest member of the Stephen A. Smith family. While you're at it, please don't forget to pick up a copy of my New York Times best-selling book, Straight Shooter, a memoir of second chances and first takes, now in paperback. Go to straightshooterbook.com. That's straightshooterbook.com to get yourself a copy. And by the way, since I'm here in studio just chilling out, like I love to do, I'm always taking your phone calls when I'm in studio. So hit me up at 888-727-5303. That's 888-SAS-5303. Let's get started. I'm going to start off today's show with some NFL action because on Sunday, the Chicago Bears traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers. My Steelers got rid of 3 pocket passes for 2 mobile quarterbacks. If I sound ecstatic, oh, I love y'all so much. Oh, I love you. I know you didn't expect me to say that about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, okay? Considering how they've looked the last couple of years. I mean, Russell Wilson looked better this year than he did his first year in Denver, and Justin Fields got better in his 3rd season than he was in the previous 2. None of them are anything to write home about in a lot of people's eyes. But if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler, if you are a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, let me tell you something right now. Did you see the quarterbacks? Did you see the quarterbacks for the Pittsburgh Steelers playing? Okay? Did you see Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky? Please, I'm ecstatic. Now, Fields likely comes in as the backup to Russell Wilson. In exchange for Fields, the Bears received a 6th-round pick that could turn into a 4th-round pick if Fields plays more than 51% of his snaps in the year 2024, the 2024 season, that is. Let me tell you something right now. I don't give a damn. Anything is better than what the hell the Steelers had. And by the way, let me get to Russell Wilson, because for his part, Wilson welcomed Justin Fields to the Steelers in a supportive tweet saying, quote, "The quarterback room is about to be lit." You may recall, Wilson will play on a 1-year veterans minimum salary of $1.2 million in 2024. The Broncos, his former team, will be picking up the remaining $38 million on his deal. But today is about the Steelers. It's about this brother right here. He's the future. He's only 25 years of age. By the way, he can run. By the way, he's an athlete. By the way, he was getting better. Completed more than 61% of his passes, which ain't something to write home about. But damn it, it's better than what he did the previous 2 years, okay? If you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, think George Pickens. Think Najee Harris. Think Jalen Warren. Think Freiermuth. Think about the offensive line. Think about that defense with T.J. Watt. And you just picked up this cat Queens, who is an all-pro linebacker for the rival Baltimore Ravens, and you still got Fitzpatrick and Joey Porter Jr. in the crew. Steelers got a chance. I know they're in the AFC North. I know they're in the AFC North with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. But the Steelers with Mitchell Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph still won 10 games last year and made it to the playoffs. I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe. By the way, let me transition because I want to talk to y'all about something here. Let me take a second to remind everybody out there that right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, I demand excellence, and I will never, ever settle for anything less. And that is why I've teamed up with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, which will help turn all of your sports knowledge into some big-time money. where the money reside. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy app where you simply choose 2 or more of your favorite players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and then submit your entry in less time than it'll take for Caitlin Clark to pull up and hit a long-range game-winning 3-yard. Prize Picks allows you to play on every basket, rebound, and assist, or better yet, a combination of all 3. So download the Prize Pick app today and join a community of more than 3 million members. And if you do, Prize Picks will match your first-time deposit of up to $100. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. So go to prizepicks.com right now and use code SAS. That's my initials, y'all. My initials, in case you didn't figure that out. Just use promo code SAS on Prize Picks to receive a first deposit match of up to $100, and then let the games begin. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy. Let me move on, because I wanted to get to something about the one and only Kyrie Irving, where despite fasting for Ramadan, Kyrie Irving put on a show in Dallas Sunday against the Denver Nuggets. Irving hit a clutch 21-foot left-handed hook shot behind the free throw line over Nikola Jokic to beat the Denver Nuggets. Here's the play right here. Look at that right there. That's Kyrie Irving. Everybody can't do that, but he can. That's why he's Kyrie. The spectacular play had players and fans going crazy on X, formerly known as Twitter. Kyrie finished playing 40 minutes, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. Again, this all happened during Ramadan, where Muslims observe a strict fast from dawn until sunset. They're not allowed to eat or drink, not even water, during daylight hours. Didn't stop Kyrie Irving from answering the call, though. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody knows I've been critical of Kyrie Irving in the past because of some off-court stuff that he found himself in that repeatedly detracted from his marvelous play on the basketball court. Most of the time because he did stuff that kept him off the court instead of allowing him to be on the court. But that's the past. We're not here to talk about the past. We're not here to talk about the past. I'm going to be like Mark McGuire, not even pleading the fifth. We ain't here to talk about the past, okay? We're here to talk about right now. Right now, with Luka Doncic being in line to capture or to at least vie for MVP honors, Kyrie Irving is quietly going about the business of averaging 25.4 points, shooting 49% from the field, 41.5% from three-point range, and on top of it all, 90% from the free throw line. The brother is a showstopper, y'all. And if Kyrie Irving continues to play that way and Luka Doncic continues to do what he did, because remember that long-range 3 that he hit over the top of the key when Aaron Gordon and those boys messed up assignment-wise and left them wide open, the bottom line is Luka Doncic is that dude. And Dallas, with him and Kyrie Irving, all the rest of the fellas got to do is their job and make sure they play some damn defense, and Dallas can make some noise. So stay tuned. Kyrie Irving, playing on an elite level, elevates the Dallas Mavericks exponentially. We cannot forget that, okay? Let me move to the last item, and I'm going to lean back or sit down for a second to bring this up, because you're not going to see me like this too often. Staying in the NBA in the Western Conference, everyone knows I've been quite vocal about the New Orleans Pelicans, in particular Zion Williamson and his weight. So much so that the team came to his defense on their social media by posting my college scoring averages at Winston-Salem State on X. It was all a lie because I didn't have any damn stats because I got injured and never played, but that's beside the point. Because it's irrelevant today. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to talk about Zion's weight, but more so his play that has sparked the Pelicans to a 40-26 record. They are now holding the 5th spot in the Western Conference with just 16 games remaining in the regular season. Zion Williamson, have you seen him? The brother's averaging nearly 24 and 7. They're winning basketball games. They're the #1 team defensively with efficiency. They're one of the very few teams, 5 teams in the NBA, that are both top 11 in offensive and defensive efficiency. Okay? They've been winning basketball games, and they've been beating everybody up while they've been doing it. The New Orleans Pelicans are being led by Zion Williamson. who's playing like a #1 overall pick. Much props, much loves to him. We're going to see what he does as the playoffs approach. They've got C.J. McCollum on there. They've got Brandon Ingram on there. They've got Valanciunas on there. They've got Herbert Jones on there. They've got size. They've got athleticism. They've got perimeter shooting. They got veteran leadership. They got a man-child in Zion Williamson who looks stealth, like he lost weight. He stayed off the burgers and the steaks. He ain't hiding food under his bed or anything like that from the team. The brother's focused. And that Zion Williamson, I got news for you. The New Orleans Pelicans could go to the finals. I'm not saying they're doing that. I'm not saying they're better than Denver. I'm saying they've been playing exceptionally well, and they have all the pieces in place to make a run. We cannot ignore that. We got to give props where it's due, because Stephen A. is a fair-minded individual. And I would never, ever allow my personal disgust with people who tried to troll me to camouflage reality. Reality is New Orleans can beat anybody. Anybody. Or they could lose to anybody if they ain't focused. Acknowledging as much is the fair and righteous thing to do. And if I'm nothing else, I am fair. If not, dare I say, righteous. Coming up next on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Jay Williams joins me to talk all things basketball. We break down the brackets and get Jay's take on some of the biggest NBA headlines. So stick around, don't go anywhere. You're watching the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. Back with more in a minute. What's up, y'all? You know the NCAA tournament is about to kick off. And I don't know about you, but I need to be sitting courtside. And there's no question I'm going right to SeatGeek to get my tickets. And here's why. Because with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events on SeatGeek, including sporting events, concerts, festivals, and more. So whether it's the NCAA tournament, the NBA, or an NHL game, SeatGeek has your tickets to whatever you want to see. Even all your favorite musical acts like Keisha Cole, Bad Bunny, and Alkaline Trio. And that is because SeatGeek puts all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you're getting the best deal on what you want to do and who you want to see. And I'm coming through with a special offer. Use my code SAS10, as in the number 10, for 10% off tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek. That's right. Go now and download the SeatGeek app and use my code SAS10 for 10% off to take advantage of this limited time offer. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app. Pretty please, with sugar on top.
There's a lot of things, other things I would do in basketball too. Like it's a couple other coverages I would do. The pick the picker, B.O.B. Not bombs over Baghdad, but baseline out of bounds.
Yeah. America's play.
Yeah, America's play. Yeah. You have the guard, you have the best shooter sitting in the middle of the lane.
Yep.
You have the biggest wing sitting at the top.
Yep.
5 is on the strong side. You have the point guard taking it out.
Yeah. And then the weak side corner.
In the weak side corner.
Yeah.
It's not many times that the guy, the wing that's coming down the middle gets that pass. Because in theory, if you're guarding the ball, 1-1,000, 2-1,000, take away the basket, and then jump out, right? To take away the shot. The guy that's guarding the ball, when he says 1-1,000, 2-1,000, 3-1,000, why doesn't he just take the guard that's coming out for the pick-the-picker, and the guard that's guarding the pick-the-picker guy just falls right to the guy that's taking the ball out?
Yeah.
1-1,000, 2-1,000.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. That is something that we need to appreciate right here before our very eyes. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. What you just heard was about a new podcast I want to give a shout out to from the one and only LeBron James himself. He's partnering with former NBA sharpshooter and my colleague at ESPN, J.J. Redick, on a new podcast that intends to be, quote, a pure conversation about the game of basketball. LeBron emphasized how he doesn't want the podcast titled Mind the Game to necessarily mirror the typical discourse around the sport. James says he's really proud of what The Uninterrupted has done to innovate in sports media. He added he wants to continue producing content his friends would watch. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing this. First of all, major props and congratulations to LeBron James. I'm dead serious about this. Because if you remember, I'm not going to be hypocritical here. There's 1,000 times I've talked about the genius and the brilliance of these basketball players. It's a LeBron James one day. It's a Kevin Durant another day. It's a Steph Curry another day. It's a Chris Paul another day. It's a James Harden another day. The list goes on and on. The NBA is rife with brilliant, brilliant basketball minds. And their problem is they're so damn sensitive most of the time. And they're so dismissive and aloof because they're not talking to somebody they consider on their level. They don't want to talk about it as opposed to taking an opportunity to actually teach the game. Now LeBron has put his words, his bravado, his stature, his money, figuratively speaking, where his mouth is. He is showing you right there elements of the game that the average basketball fan can't possibly think about or see because we're fixated on a finished product as opposed to the nuances surrounding the game, what goes into it, and what ultimately leads to success. But having said all of that, let me be the first to say, LeBron James was a little bit slick here too. Brilliantly slick, I might add. Because he could have had that conversation on uninterrupted. He could have been talking to Maverick Carter. He could have been talking to Rich Paul. He could have been talking to his crew of boys. But he chose to do this with J.J. Redick. Who is J.J. Redick? One of the great shooters in the history of the game, who had a 15-year-plus career in the NBA, who is now a color commentator, a part of the A-Team with Mike Breen and Doris Burke on ABC and ESPN games, who's also a contributor to my daytime job, First Take, along with other shows, not to mention the fact he's got his own podcast, The Old Man and the Three, which is very popular. So what happens is when you get with somebody like a JJ who knows the game, who's a brilliant basketball mind, but can be a bit truculent or acerbic at times when somebody he believes is ignorant is in his face talking about the game, to have a voice like that serves LeBron in a multitude of ways because it provides him cover from the regular discourse that would serve to criticize or sully his name in any way, because he don't want to do it. He believes that's beneath him. So he got with somebody that'll do it for him. Not to say that's what JJ signed on for, not to say that's what JJ is about. I'm just saying that JJ knows the game, and he is quick to check anybody who thinks they know stuff they don't know about the game of basketball. It's a brilliant move on LeBron James' part. Very slick. And it will work like heaven against everybody except me. It won't work. When you go out on that wing and you jacking up shots you don't need to jack up, or you're hesitant about getting to the free throw line, or you choosing to shoot a fall away jump shot instead of taking it to the hole and being that man amongst boys that you are, JJ ain't gonna be able to help you there, no matter what he says. But it is a brilliant idea, and everybody should want to watch J.J. Redick with LeBron James. Now that I've gotten that off my chest, there's one more quick hitter I need to get to before I get to my man Jay Williams. Now, as brackets are getting filled out and billions of dollars are on the line for the big dance, there's another gambling story making headlines today, people. Superstar singer Bruno Mars has a string of hit songs. One of his most popular is called 24K Magic. In the air. I ain't gonna do that to you. In the song, Mars sings the lyric, "I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket." Remember that? Well, that money may be going if a recent report by News Nation is true. According to the article, Mars has had a long-term residency at the Park MGM, Las Vegas, for 8 years and has reportedly racked up $50 million in gambling debt. A source alleged that Mars takes home $90 million from his current deal with MGM and a recently launched cocktail lounge called the Pinky Ring at Vegas-based MGM property, the Bellagio. Mars has talked in the past about his love for poker during an appearance on the show Carpool Karaoke. In the end, let's be very clear. First of all, I'm a huge fan of Bruno Mars. Secondly, I think he's the closest thing to Michael Jackson out there, let me say it. I never knew a damn thing about Bruno Mars until he performed at the Super Bowl by himself and then followed that up with a performance with Coldplay and Beyonce, which to me was off the chain. And the fact that he's bringing in $90 million, how the hell are you bringing in $90 million and you're $50 million in debt? I don't understand that. You're supposed to be $40 million in the green, not $50 million in debt. You're $50 million in debt, that's 90, plus an additional 50, which comes up to about $140 million that you're throwing around. I don't understand this, but here's all I got to say. For those of you that are looking at him and you're saying to yourself, excuse me, according to the reports, he makes about $1.5 million per show or whatever. Why are we stressing? Yeah, he might owe $50 million. Based on $1.5 million he might earn per show, that's just 33.3 shows. That's all he needs to do to erase that debt. Don't go to the damn poker table. Don't go to the blackjack table. Don't go to the slot machine for crying out loud, even if it's only asking you for $1. Don't do it. Stay the hell out of the casino other than your performance. Outside of that, guess what, bro? All you got to do is do about 33 and a half shows, 35 shows in a 2-month span, and it erases the $50 million debt. Most people on this planet can't do that. Most people ain't Bruno Mars. He can get away with that. So I understand y'all looking at the 50 million, 50 million, 50 million. Remember, I just told you. They say the brother pulling in 90 million per at MGM. I'm sorry, next year it might be 40 instead of 90. So you could pay off the 50 in debt. My heart's broken. I mean, I'm just so stunned. I'm so stunned. Please, stop the nonsense. Let that man live his life. But Bruno, it ain't good to make all that money if you ain't got any of it to keep for yourself, bro. When you look at the Vegas casinos, just think twice about going down there yourself. That's all. Send your boys to do it for you. Order room service. Chill out. Do something. Anything but gamble, bro. Keep your money. Because as great as you are, I got news for you. You ain't gonna be able to perform like that forever. We all get old. Father Time is undefeated. Make sure your wallets are fat when that day comes for you. All right? Just wanted to say that before I get to where I'm going, which is to my man Jay Williams, because I couldn't wait to talk to this brother. Time for the brackets, time for the brackets. So guess what? My next guest is an ESPN, NBA, and college basketball analyst and a frequent contributor on First Take, by the way. More importantly, this is his time of the year. He won the 2001 NCAA National Championship with Duke. So he knows a little something about the game of basketball and about March Madness. This is my brother, the one and only, Mr. Jay Williams. What's up, big time? How are you doing, man? How's everything?
You know what I say? I just got the little John R. Wooden Award behind me on the left and the little Nate Smith on the right. You know, just a little flex this time of year.
I'm glad you flex it. You need to flex a little bit more. I can't believe how many people have forgotten that you literally have forgotten that you were a National Player of the Year. They know that you won a championship at Duke, but they forget that you were a bad boy. See, I never forgot that about you, Jay.
Well, they're too busy looking at us argue about Kyrie Irving back in the day.
That's
you know,
right.
We've been making magic in different ways, so it's been taking the attention away from the other things. That's
Man,
okay.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't argue with you about Kyrie Irving today. That brother right there, Jay. Jay, I can't say anything.
I'm glad we're back to basketball, though. I mean,
right.
You were right. When it's basketball, it's magical. It's magical.
He is spectacular, man. And we'll get in a little NBA action before I let you get on out of here today. But I brought you on to talk about the brackets because the NCAA tournament is all set. March Madness is ready to go. I want to go region by region right now. I know you got your brackets. I'm looking at the East region right over here for me. I'm looking at the East right now. I'm looking at UConn, okay? This is what I'm looking at with UConn. The #1 seed. I think they're the best team in basketball. I can't see anybody beating them, Jay. Can you?
You know, Illinois or Iowa State might be the only ones to really give them issues. Like Auburn to be there, I don't think Auburn's guards are good enough at the end of the day to compete with the likes of the UConn's guards. Like UConn's guards, Tristan Newton and Cam Spencer are at different levels, right? Okay. But when you get to the bottom half of the bracket, the only thing that would hold up Iowa State is their inability to score at the same clip that UConn can. And Iowa State is a great defensive team. UConn is the most complete team. But yes, I have UConn coming out of the East region. I think it's safe to say that Dan Hurley is a different breed of an animal. Right. And that DNA has been passed down to all of his players. They are built differently. I got to come out of
It's two things on my mind about Iowa State, though. Number one, their defense is elite. Yes, they have difficult time scoring at times, but they can certainly shut you down and make the game ugly and interesting because they can really neutralize you offensively better than most teams in college basketball can do. The other side to it is that Houston rolled up in there this past weekend in their tournament. They were one of the top teams in the nation. They were 30-3, 3 consecutive seasons, winning 30 or more games. They didn't lose to Iowa State. They got their ass kicked. They were down by 30, lost by 28. Did that give you cause to pause when it comes to Iowa State being in the same region as UConn or anybody else?
I mean, that was a can of whoop ass, SA.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on number 1 seeds before. Like, all this stuff, like, we lost some games, but we ain't losing by 30.
Right.
We lost by 2, by 4, by single digits,
right.
barely at that. But by 30, that gives me, like, that's some value in Iowa State. So that's the reason. But, you know, one of the things that confuse everybody talks about the Big 12. All you hear about this tournament is how good the Big 12 is. But none of these guys played crazy non-conference schedules, because their in-conference schedule is so crazy, which everybody gives reason to. But so a lot of these teams really haven't been tested outside of the conference. But I think Iowa State will be the one team that could be a sleeper or not. It can give UConn some issue, but I still have UConn going.
Okay, I want to go to the South region right now. I want to look at the South because right now I'm thinking about the teams that I saw in that region. Here's the South region right here. You got Houston as a number 1 seed, Marquette as a number 2 seed, who UConn had their way with on at least 2 to 3 occasions this coming season. But my pick out of the South region, Jay Williams, you ready for this? Texas A&M. I think they got a shot.
To the 4? Wow, to the 4?
I'm going to the 4 because I've lost all faith in Houston, and I'm looking at the rest of this region. Am I supposed to pick Nebraska? No. I don't believe in Duke. You don't believe in Duke either.
I don't believe in Duke.
There you go. And you went to Duke. You went to Duke, started Duke, delivered a national championship to Duke. I know Mike Krzyzewski, there's supposed to be a drop-off when he disappears, Jay, but damn, I just don't see it.
We don't got that shit to us, SA. We don't. Something's missing. I don't know what it is. You are built like a dog. You and I know dogs. We know people that just keep coming regardless of whatever you do. They don't care. They are built like trucks.
Right.
And for some reason, when I watch Duke, they're talented. I just don't feel like they're built like trucks. They're missing that. And that's what kills me about the whole situation.
How could that be, though, coming from the pedigree they come from? You, Bobby Hurley, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill. I mean, my Lord, how do you get? I don't recognize this Duke team. I just think something's really missing. You really, really don't know what it is? You keep pounding your chest like it's something inside that chest that's missing. Is that what it is?
I mean, that's what keeps your heart beating. I see the new studios. I see the work ethic. You see me trying to mirror it in my own way. That's where you and I have a bond. We're both built like that.
Right.
And when it takes one to know one, SA.
Okay.
Like when you're on the court, and you're watching these dudes, hold on. They just got their tails whooped by North Carolina at home.
Yeah.
At home. Like when you lose a game at Duke to North Carolina, it's like there's a death in the family.
That's right.
And then to see them come out against NC State, and all love to NC State for those boys, DJ Burns could be one of the stars in NCAA tournament.
Right.
They were beating them to 50-50 balls. Like it was light work. Like that's problematic to me. That makes me concerned about your heart and your character going into the tournament. It does.
And that's where I go to Texas A&M. I've seen them play a little bit this year, and I'm saying to myself, they got some potential. And they got I definitely think somebody gonna knock off Houston. I believe it'll be them. I like Marquette, but I saw them get beat up too much against UConn. I know it was against the best team in the nation, but if you get punched in the face enough, you ultimately get punch drunk. And I think that potentially could happen to Marquette, even though I'm a fan of Shaka Smart. I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. Do you believe Texas A&M can come out of that region?
I think they have a legitimate chance. I mean, one of the reasons we were talking about this today on your show, First Take, that I love them is that they are the best offensive rebounding team in the country. By the way, that's how Houston scores. Got it. Houston's best shot is their offensive rebound, right? But I think that Texas A&M is a little bit bigger. Now, Jamal Shead for Houston, he's a dog defensively. But Wade Taylor, man, that dude can score against the best of them in the nation, the smaller guard, him and Tyrese Radford, two guys that are used to getting their shots off, and they beat Kentucky. They beat some of the top teams in the SEC, which to me, if you can do that, you can beat anybody in the nation.
What about Kentucky? Let's stay there for a quick second here. How are you feeling about Kentucky, considering what they've been through this year? You heard me arguing with Coach Greenberg earlier this morning on First Take on ESPN. He brings up Calipari, who I love dearly. I love Calipari. We go back many years. I was covering Temple with John Chaney as the coach in the 90s when Calipari was at UMass with Lou Rowe and Mike Williams and Marcus Camby and these boys. I know what a great coach Calipari is, but 32 years and one national championship. What am I supposed to say about that?
I mean, it's the one thing that keeps him from in the levels of immortality and into the pantheon of coaches. And Big Blue Nation, trust me, you know, I'm on social media all the time. They are calling for this man's job. I don't believe his job is at jeopardy at all.
Yeah, I don't believe it should be either. I don't believe it should be either.
But that's where the fan base is trying to take it. But I will tell you this. They got Rob Dillingham, which you can check him out on YouTube. He's a YouTube highlight show. And they got Reed Shepard that's going to be a top 5 pick in this upcoming NBA draft. They coming off the bench, Stephen A. They're coming off the bench.
Wow.
Like, this is the most loaded team he's had in a long time. And this region, by the way, we talked about the chaos up top. When you got Texas A&M coming out, like, there ain't no reason Kentucky should not be coming out of this bracket. They should be coming out of the South region. That's it.
I got it. Let me transition to the Midwest region right now because Purdue is the #1 seed. Tennessee is a #2 seed. Okay, Creighton is a #3 seed. Your 4th seed is Kansas with Bill Self and the crew. Got some injuries they got to deal with. 5th is Gonzaga. I'm looking at the Midwest. I think this is, I don't want to say a cakewalk. It's college basketball. But with Purdue and how loaded they are and with the victories they've had this year, you should be coming out of this region if you're Purdue. Your thoughts?
I was shocked at you today on this show, man.
Why?
Because usually, like, if I drop a little nugget, you sense it and it blows up into a larger conversation. So you didn't find anything interesting about what I said, that as a guy who snuck one Player of the Year award in 2001 and then won them all in 2002. If you were talking about Jay Williams of Duke, and I had not been out of the first weekend of the damn NCAA tournament as the back-to-back National Player of the Year, would you not give me any grief for that, Stephen A. Smith?
I would. I'll give you major grief, no doubt.
That's where we're at with Zach Edey. He's 7'4". People keep calling him the best player in basketball. I actually think the best player in basketball is the guy playing for Tennessee, Dalton Connect, that's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft. But if Zach Edey doesn't get out of the first round, doesn't get to the Final Four, his legacy will be that as back-to-back National Player of the Year, they got him beat by a 16 seed, a 15 seed, and a 13 seed, and not out of the first weekend of the tournament.
Can I say something to you publicly? I have not uttered this publicly on First Take, on this show, on radio, anywhere that I've been. I've never been a big fan of Edey. I think that I look at him and I know he's dominant on the collegiate level, but I think it's strictly because he has such a huge size advantage. I look at his footwork, I look at his mobility, I look at his hops or lack thereof. I don't see him as some dude that's a monster coming into the NBA that's gonna take the world by storm. I look at him as a guy who's oversized that as a result is gonna take advantage of dudes on a collegiate level in a way he will never be able to do on a pro level, and that's why you haven't heard me talking about him.
And it's not hate. It's just what it is.
Right.
When people ask me, well, why is the women's game getting so much pop? I'm like, well, we got the Stephen Curry of women's college basketball in the game right now. That's why it pops. So compare Caitlin Clark to Zach Edey. That's the problem.
That's exactly it, and that's answering your question. That is why I said I don't talk about him because he's a college kid and I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, Jay. I'm trying to show compassion. I'm trying to get some compassion.
We're not getting this. What do you they fine. You can talk about them like they pros. They grown-ass men. You okay?
I got it, man. I'm just trying to be nice. Let's move to the West region, man. North Carolina is the #1 seed. I got North Carolina going to the Final Four, bro. I see some competition. Arizona is not something that you can sneeze at. I'm not sold on Baylor. Damn sure ain't sold on Clemson or Alabama or certainly St. Mary's. I know North Carolina can get knocked off because if R.J. Davis has some kind of slump or whatever. I'm wondering about them. But I've seen enough from Carolina, despite their loss in the ACC championship game to NC State, to look at them and say they could get to the Final Four. What say you?
I agree with you. You know, one of my nicknames is Petty LaBelle. I love the petty stuff.
There we go.
I'm here
That's
for all
true,
of it.
that's true,
I'm
that's
here
true.
for all of it. So I'm not going to say specifics on it.
Right.
But if North Carolina and Arizona meet in the Elite Eight, oh, that is such team petty. Because that backcourt, that R.J. Davis and that Caleb Love, they played together in the national championship game for North Carolina now.
Yeah.
And some stuff popped off. And to watch those two go at it head-to-head for a chance to the Final Four, oh, I'm just getting my popcorn ready. I'm sitting my ass on that couch and I'm leaning in.
No doubt. So again, to go over my picks, I've got UConn, I've got North Carolina, I got Texas A&M with Purdue, okay? And I got UConn beating North Carolina, Purdue beating Texas A&M, and I got UConn beating Purdue for the national title.
The only twist I have in my four, I'm with you on UConn, UNC out of the East and the West. In the South, I got Kentucky popping.
Okay.
I think Drake is going to add. He's going to bet a lot of money on them. It's a different crowd with that. And then I got Tennessee beating Purdue, man.
Right.
Purdue already beat them originally this year. I think that's payback. Dalton Connect. He's not the plug. He's the connect, S.A. I'm telling you, watch this cat play. He's cut from a different cloth.
Right.
And I think he has a chance to get a revenge game. I think they will get revenge against
I want to
Purdue.
transition to something on a personal level about you. I really, first of all, your basketball inside and out, and you was a hell of a player. You were what I wanted to be, damn it. I didn't have those kind of skill set, damn it. That's the bottom line. But I got to tell you this. I think the college basketball game has needed you. I think that when we look at college basketball, we've seen the women get more shine. LSU, South Carolina, nearly gotten into it. Now they could probably have the potential in women's basketball to meet for the national championship. Caitlin Clark is the Steph Curry of the sport. We know what she brings to the table, how box office she is. We haven't seen that in the men's game, and everybody's been talking about the players who are bypassing college. Guys coming over from Europe, they're going straight to the pros. Guys going to the NBA, willing to go to the G League, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, that's hurt. But I also think somebody like you is needed because, like you just pointed out with Edie, you're going to hold cats accountable. Not to say that other great college basketball analysts don't do that, but I think the game needs you, and I think it's great that the game has you. How much have you enjoyed covering college basketball and calling college basketball the way that you used to before you transitioned to the NBA?
Well, I'll tell you, doing your show and rocking out with you guys over the last several years, I think I've came more into myself just about being unapologetically me. You and I used to have talks about this all the time, right? And rocking with Key and the relationship him and I built.
Keyshawn Johnson, yep.
Yeah, Keyshawn. I think it helps me because at the end of the day, I just want to talk ball. And as you know this, either you can hoop or you can't hoop.
Correct.
And just because you might be good in college, don't mean you're going to be good in the pros. And that's okay. We can delineate between the two. But just being honest about raw feedback as a former player, that sometimes you need to get into the gritty and just go get it. That's who I want to bring to life on the television set.
Do you believe that you're able, it's one thing to talk to NBA players who get what you were and what you did on the basketball court, and they can appreciate that before you had the motorcycle accident injury, and that basically derailed your pro career. But as a collegiate player, there's no denying how elite you were and all the awards that you won. When you go and talk to these college basketball players, do they get that? Do they understand who's standing before them, who's sitting there talking to them about their games and how to improve it, how to work on it, and what it's going to take to get to the next level? Do you get the point? Do you get the impression that in this day and age, they get that from you?
I think they get it because they see me on TV, but when they really get it is when I sit down with them, I start asking them questions, right? So I'm like, okay, how many points have you dropped in 3 years? They're like, 1,700. I'm like, that's cool. I dropped 2,093. How many times have you won an ACC championship? 1. Okay, I won it 3. How many times have you been the Final Four MVP? Okay, I got it once. I national champ. How many times have you been Player of the Year? Well, I'm 2-time National Player of the Year. So I often think that sometimes it's okay to say what your background is.
Right.
Like when I hear it's okay to remind people what it was, and that's fine. I'm all for it.
But I'm asking you, are they receiving it? I know you say it and you feel the need to tell it to, but based on your years in this business of covering the sport, both collegiately and on a professional level, talking to athletes the way that you talk to them, today's generation of collegiate athletes, how receptive are they to those messages?
I think they're open because I'm willing to criticize and critique myself. I mean, it's the same as you. Like, they'll trust it. We all learn and we take notes.
Yeah.
Like, there are times I can mess up. I can hold myself accountable. Like, I'll apologize for a mistake. I'll own it. I'll also say things like, look, I think Caitlin Clark is great to a degree, but we define greatness by championships. Individual greatness is different than how we deem champions.
Right.
Like, there are levels to greatness. And even though it's hard, it ain't for everybody. It takes elements of luck, but that's what we talk about in the status of the Pantheon. So I just see it differently. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't, but it is what it is.
Is that one of the reasons that you get Kyrie Irving in the ways that most of us haven't? I'm saying that complimentary because I got to sit up here and acknowledge. Listen, I've had my differences with Kyrie Irving, but I've consistently always wanted that brother on the court. I want him on the court doing what we've seen him do, and now that he's doing it, we got Luka damn near averaging 35-point triple-doubles over the course of a couple of months. And quietly, Kyrie Irving's averaging 25.4 points, shoot 49% for the field, 41.5% from three-point range, 90% for the free throw line, and the Dallas Mavericks are creeping up in the standings, trying to make some noise, avoid the play-in, and could potentially make some noise this postseason. And we're talking about a Kyrie Irving, by the way, who put up forth this performance with the game-winning shot against Denver on Sunday afternoon. That's in the midst of Ramadan. He's not eating, he's not drinking, and he's on the court doing what we saw him do. I can't say enough about him. I got to give him his props. You always had a connection to some degree about who Kyrie Irving was, what he is, what he's capable of. What is it like for you to see him performing the way he has performed this year?
I just never seen somebody have poetry with the rock the way he has, ever. And I'm a student. Like, I study old school players. Like, you know, Rod Strickland, the fact that that's his family. Like, the fact that he's taking Rod Strickland. And Stephen A., you watch Rod.
Yeah. That's one of my boys.
All of it.
That's one of my
And
boys.
he has that to, like, he's 3.0 of that.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I also think that for a guy like Kyrie, we want him to be the person in every aspect that he is as a player. And we all know it don't really work like that.
Right.
Like, there are levels of growth in so many different categories as you deal with fame, as you deal with attention, as you deal with what you thought you needed compared to what you need. So I think just understanding the growth trajectory of who he is as a young dude, like, I'm not saying I'm absolving him of everything. Like, Kyrie makes mistakes. Damn, we all make mistakes.
I don't even mention him anymore. I want to move past. I want him to move past. I love just talking about his game. And guess what? Guess what the question is I got about Kyrie Irving now? And some people might look at it as a negative. I don't. It's a testament to his greatness. What if him and LeBron James had never separated? Oh damn.
That's a growth.
I mean, what if they had never separated?
That goes to this. Whose team is Dallas's team?
It's Luka's.
Okay. So, like, that's what I'm saying. The growth, though, right? Like, when with LeBron, oh, I'm not the kid, I'm his equal. Okay. KD, yeah, we're equal, but it's kind of mine. Now with Luka, you've seen the growth where it's like, yo, I'm just gonna do me. If I could be great, I just want to win a chip. It's different mindsets at different times in your career.
What did you feel about Isaiah Thomas on Draymond Green's podcast when Isaiah Thomas said to Draymond, your legacy as a team, you with Steph, with Clay, was on the downslide because after Cleveland came back and beat y'all, you don't go out and get KD. In all likelihood, you don't win the championship again. Kyrie and LeBron would have had that. What do you say to that?
He's right.
Yeah.
I
have to admit that.
Yeah, but where's the lie being told there? I mean, look, the fact that they were able to recruit maybe the most skilled player outside of Kyrie the game of basketball has ever seen at 7 feet tall to do what he did. I mean, Steph doesn't have a couple more without KD. I think even Steph will be honest to tell you that.
Wow.
And if that dude stays there, that's game over in Cleveland for a long time. Those two together? Come on, man. We still want to see them together now.
How about that? Absolutely. It would have been nice to see Kyrie in L.A. It would have been nice to see Kyrie in L.A. at the Crypto.com arena.
For you too.
Oh, hell yes. Do you look at me? Do I seem like I'm denying it? Hell yes. I want to be in Denver, come to finals. Great sports town, great people. But damn it, that high altitude with my stuffy nose causing me sinus headaches. I'm not interested. I want to be in Southern California sunshine. I'm not denying that. But 2 questions before I let you get on out of here. Kyrie, the most skilled player in NBA history in your mind?
I would say I called them the most skilled duo on your show. Yes. I mean, look, most players, I'm gonna give you some technical here,
Okay.
basketball-wise that you like.
Sure.
Whenever you see an NBA player do a left-hand layup while in movement, most of them gather the ball, they rock it back from the right to the left to get the momentum with up.
Yep.
Look at the fact that he takes his right hand outside the painted area, touches it for a second, but across his body, and then keeps that thing in his left hand the whole time, most of the time.
Over a 7-footer.
I mean, while fading right to left.
That's right.
Like that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a 6'2" guard.
Wow.
I ain't never seen that before. Not during a game.
Top 5 skilled all time. I don't know who's number 1, but he deserves to be in the conversation. Last question to you. I'm going to switch to Zion Williamson. Because I had to get on them a few weeks ago because they chirping and talking, but they ain't winning.
Are y'all okay with that? Is everything okay between y'all?
Man, I'm fine. Come on, Jay, you know me. I could take it. I could take it. They trolling me and all of this. I could care less. First of all, they keep lying. They keep acting like I played. I got injured. I never played. So that, I mean, they're lying about the stats.
They
But
show none of your makes.
It's okay.
You can't show the makes.
But let me say this to you. I made some makes now. They sleeping on the brother. But that's okay. That's all right. Here's my thing about Zion and them. You got just as many names, meaning the Pelicans, the Hornets, as you have had division titles, or I'm sorry, playoff series victories in the 22-year history of the franchise. 2, shut up and play. Guess what? They have. They have been balling. 40-26, 5th seed in the West. Zion looks considerably lighter in shape, playing like a star. I've gone from criticizing them, Jay Williams, to having to acknowledge these brothers got a chance to be in the Western Conference Finals, if not the finals, because they got size to match up with Denver.
And I think Jokic would have a really hard time with how fast Zion is and how he can get out in transition and utilizing him as a point forward at times. Look, the discussion around Zion has always been his health and his weight.
Yes.
Ain't nobody ever questioned
it's one of the
that
same.
dude.
It's one of the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the same.
And nobody ever questioned when that dude's on the court, what
Right.
he's able to bring. You might question, has the intensity on his focus on the court matched his intensity of his focus of what it needs to be off the court?
Yeah.
But as we've all said, though, like sometimes you need time in the league to get yourself situated, to get right. He's been through a lot. I just want him to stay right now. I just want him to stay right because ain't nobody else saying nothing else about Zion other than his hoop on the court, and that's what I want us to talk about with him because he's different, he's special.
I'm letting you get out of here with this last comment. You can just respond to it. I love me some Caitlin Clark. I root for her all day, every day. She's the Steph Curry of women's basketball. I think she's going to be a star on the next level in the WNBA as well. But I will say this. I still see them losing to an LSU. I think LSU in a rematch is the more complete team. And I got LSU in South Carolina meeting for the national championship. My Final Four for the women's is South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU, and USC. That girl, Juju Watkins, I mean, she's special. But I don't think they're going to beat LSU. I got LSU and South Carolina meeting for the national title, and Dawn Staley in South Carolina winning it. What do you say?
I am not mad at that. I just also think you and I know about this whole West Coast, East Coast thing, highlights. If you ever have seen Juju Watkins play,
She's special.
he might be the most talented player we have in the women's game right now.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
She's a bad girl. If there's a female who can put on a show and individually take over, there's only 2 in my mind. It's her and Caitlin.
Agreed. But she a freshman, and I think if she stay all 4 years, that's gonna be a problem.
A freshman. Lord. Jay Williams, love you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for being on the show.
You too, brother. Stay up.
All right. Still to come right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Did you hear Donald Trump's comments on a, quote, bloodbath if he's not reelected? I've got several thoughts on that matter. Plus, calls, tweets, and then some up next. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. I want to take a moment to get into a little politics because there was a website called The Spun that released an article about me, and it was entitled, quote, Stephen A. accuses the media of being unfair to Donald Trump. The subject of the article was a post, essentially one that I tagged to a video that was released by Elon Musk on a speech that Trump was giving the other day. And when I responded and tagged Elon Musk's video, here is what I said. Based purely on this video, if it is accurate, then it would be true. It seems real Donald Trump's words were taken out of context. Reading the headlines, I've read, fair is fair. I posted this in response to the owner of Tesla and X, the one and only Elon Musk himself, saying, quote, legacy media lies, end quote, in a post highlighting media criticism of Trump's speech. That was in reference to Trump's comment Saturday at an auto industry rally in Dayton, Ohio, y'all. An auto industry rally in Dayton, Ohio. One thing Trump did say was this. Listen for yourself.
China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
What did I do? The fact of the matter is, when you watch the headlines talking about Donald Trump, they were mischaracterizing his comments. Yes, he said what he said, but it was taken completely out of context because he was talking about the auto industry and business with China and how if he's not elected, it's going to be problematic in terms of doing business with China as it pertains to the auto industry. I don't take it back. I ain't backing up 1 inch. What the hell is going on here? Let me tell y'all something. I'm really getting sick and tired of people mischaracterizing my quotes. This is the beauty of having my own platform and saying what I want to say and what I need to say, only for the perspective of quoting me accurately and contextualizing what I say accurately. Then do what you want. But any given time that I want to, when you mischaracterize what I say, I'm going to come back at your ass. That's what I'm going to do. Let me be very, very clear. For all of you Democrats out there that swear up and down, I'm some damn Trump supporter because I call it like I said. I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I didn't vote for Trump in 2020, and I damn sure ain't going to vote for him in 2024. And if you really, really want my history, let me take it a step further. I voted for Michael Dukakis versus H.W. Bush, even when he tried to hoodwink everybody and use those Willie Horton ads that ultimately worked for him. I voted for Bill Clinton, not once but twice. I voted for Al Gore. That's the first time I heard about, what is it, leaning chads at the voting booth? Hanging chads, rather. I don't know this stuff, but I voted for Al Gore. Yes, I did. I voted for John Kerry. Yes, I did. And you damn right I voted for Barack Obama, not once but twice. And I voted for Hillary Clinton. And I voted for Joe Biden, despite the crime bill leading to mass incarceration for minorities in this country, although it was entirely his fault because you had the Congressional Black Caucus pushing him to do it. But he bragged about how it was his bill, until it wasn't politically expedient for him to do so. I've been voting for Democrats, but hey, I'm a fair-minded individual. And when Republicans make sense, I'm going to give them credit for it. When they're right about something, I'm going to give them credit for it. There's plenty of Republicans other than Trump that I would have voted for, and I wouldn't have apologized for it because I don't happen to disagree with every conservative policy. But just so we're clear, I'm a fiscal conservative and I am a social liberal, unapologetic about it. What does that have to do with y'all not telling the truth? See, at the end of the day, let's just call it what it is. Trump is handing it to y'all. All you Democrats out there are walking around acting like it's somebody else's fault that in the year 2024, you're begging a soon-to-be 82-year-old incumbent to run for re-election and win for you because you haven't had a damn soul that can take them. 4 indictments, 91 counts, 2 impeachments, civil suits against them, elevating above $400 million. And he is whipping y'all ass. That is a fact. He secured the GOP nomination. You got him ahead in all the polls as we speak. You've got him elevated, according to the polls, in the world of Hispanics and blacks, more so than ever before. Not to say that those numbers are going to be exorbitant, but it'll be just enough to get him reelected. And because I'm sitting here and pointing out to you that you're getting in your own way by trying to fabricate or embellish stories in such a fashion where you could easily get caught, exposed for your miscalculations or your flat out lies, and something that he is going to use to his advantage to get reelected. I'm wrong. I'm wrong because I'm calling out how you don't know how to beat him. That's the problem. I'm no political aficionado. But I've been on the record saying I'd love to go against Trump in a debate. You know how embarrassing that is that I could say that? Because he beat y'all. You can't beat him. You can't beat him. You're trying everything. You're engaging in lawfare. You keep coming up with stuff. It's Russian collusion 1 minute. It's civil cases the next. We got a district attorney in the state of New York going after him for paying hush money to a former porn star. You really think that's going to stop him from getting reelected? You've got tens of millions of people who are already on the record saying they would vote for him if he were a convicted felon and put in a zebra suit and behind bars. And the best you could do is say Stephen A. Smith is supporting him, is coming to his defense. That's the best you can do because I'm pointing out how something's not going to work. Newsflash. He is taking it to y'all in such a way that it's become a bit embarrassing. It's that simple. Not only is he taking out DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Chris Christie and Vivek Ramaswamy, he's also taking out President Biden before our very eyes. The momentum keeps dissipating. I'm not happy about that because I believe that a Trump presidency could potentially cause civil war in this country. That's my personal belief based on his behavior because I believe he will be on a vengeance tour and he won't be governing. He'll be exacting revenge instead of being presidential and being the leader of the free world for all of America. That's my belief. But that does not mean I'm not going to point out when you're doing something that's to your detriment that is not going to lead to beating him. The truth is the truth. He's smoking the Dems right now. After he smoked every GOP rival they could find. He looks like he is destined for the White House. All Stephen A. is sitting here saying, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? Because right now, he's giving it to y'all. It's worse than what LeBron James and Steph Curry do to opponents. Or what Patrick Mahomes just did to a bunch of people. Trump is doing that to the Dems. Because in the year 2024, the liberal side of our political stratosphere, the ones whom some are called progressives, are relying on an 82-year-old to come save the day. And I'm saying, what if the momentum continues to show this? Y'all just gonna stand there and let Biden fall? Y'all ain't gonna do anything? Y'all ain't gonna get Kamala Harris in as your nominee? You ain't gonna get Gavin Newsom in as your nominee? You ain't gonna get somebody else in as your nominee? Do something, anything. If it was anybody else in any other profession, y'all would say, try something, anything. Y'all just standing still, again, getting your ass kicked. You want to accuse Stephen A. of saying something accuse me of that. I dare anybody to deny it based on what we've been seeing. Let's go to the tweets before I get on out of here for the day, because I got a couple of tweets that I wanted to get to and stuff like that. And I like getting up and standing up because, you know, they wanted me to show my casual side and stuff like that. And since I got a couple of fly outfits, particularly sweatsuits, why not do that? I think it was the right thing to do, okay? So let's get to some of these tweets, okay? And try them on, okay? At Matt's Celtics, it says here, who you got in a 2 versus 2, Rick and Morty or SpongeBob and Patrick? Well, I'm definitely going with SpongeBob and Patrick. Look at this, man. I can put this brother right here in the post, okay? You see how they trying to imitate LeBron, D-Wade throwing the alley-oop to LeBron and LeBron slamming it home? They missed when Shannon Sharp and I did that thing with me lobbing it up to Shannon Sharp and him coming down and slamming it home. This is what they trying to do here with Patrick and SpongeBob. But you see the thickness of the body. The brother got muscles. He can sit up there and move some people around. This SpongeBob clearly got hops. What these guys have? Morty and Rick. First of all, their names sound corny. Morty? Really? Secondly, your legs are as thin as mine. That ain't gonna cut it. And thirdly, you're crying. What the hell is this? There's no crying in basketball. There's no crying. There's no crying. I'm going with SpongeBob and Patrick. Next up, please, give it to me. At China from China. Well, LeBron James is the photo, right? Stephen A., what do you think about the Grady Dix versus Anthony Black jersey swap? Can I say this for YouTube purposes? Don't I have to be careful? I'm not going to say the words over there. You can read what the word says. You know, it compliments very complimentary things in some people's eyes. I'll leave it at that. Let's move on to the next one, please. Who wins Starch Madness? Starch Madness, okay? Now, I could barely see all of this, but Starch Madness right here, this is at SportsCenter. SportsCenter sent this in to me. Excuse me, my peeps at ESPN. Hash browns, what is this, boiled what? Okay, Dutchess waffle, roasted shoestrings, gratin, what the hell is that? Mashed? Gratin? Is that what it says? Oh, gratin, all right. Mashed potatoes, okay. Tater tot skins, wedges, croquettes, baked. Oh, for me, it's the baked potato right there. That's what I'm gonna go with. Some protein in your blood, give you a little bit of extra energy and stuff like that. I go with the baked potatoes. I just finished eating some last night, by the way. Getting myself in shape, trying to be right. Gotta have the potatoes. Gotta have the potatoes. Last one right here, let's go to it, all right? At Scotty Colt. Oh my God, look at this picture. This is a cursed individual right here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this photo. I mean, clearly, this is a miserable human being. I mean, to have all of that cowboy, you clearly are not committed to winning at anything, okay? So, but let's write what he writes. You're on your first date and she takes you back home to this. What's your reaction? Can I answer that question, really? Can I give you an honest answer? It depends on how fine she is. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm just not gonna lie. I mean, you know, let me just give out a few names. Somebody as fine as Beyonce, J-Lo, you know, Sanaa Lathan, you know, or Regina Hall, you know, people like that. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I'm going to throw Kim Kardashian in there. I just saw her at the Lakers game the other day. She looked beautiful. Throw her up in there. J-Lo was there, too. Saw her. She was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I mean, now, if I'm with some average-looking chick, I'm leaving. What do I need this for? I don't need this contaminating me. This might touch my soul in the wrong way. But last time I checked, you not only have this, but you got a lamp right here. Turn out the lights, light a candle. You understand? Because I'm in a romantic mood. You understand what I'm saying? Let's take a shower. Dim the lights. Can't see the Cowboys. I'm obviously going to move those sheets off. I'm going to shove the pillow away. I'm going to be under the covers. And I just got to make sure I'm looking down instead of up. And I won't see most of it anyway. So I'll be just fine. I'll be just fine. Let's go back to the phone. I'm sorry, I mean, y'all asked the question. I mean, why you ask me? I'm going to answer you right, okay? I'm just going to do that, okay? I'm going to do that. But let's get to the phones before I get on out of here for the day. 888-727-5303. That's 888-SAS-5303. Let's go to Gonzo in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, Stephen A., how are you?
Talk to me, my brother.
Listen, I got a question about the New York Giants quarterback situation. Listen, we got Daniel Jones, we got this 6th pick, but
Drew Lock.
Tommy DeVito, I tell you,
Right.
strong as a bull, good head on his shoulders. I'm from North Jersey. He's from a good family. He might be all Brock Purdy, you know.
Stop it. Don't do that.
Oh.
Don't do that.
Take it easy.
Let me explain. I'm playing with you, Gonzo. It's all love, brother. We brothers from another mother. Relax.
One love, Stephen.
Here's what I'm getting on you about. Respectfully, you know good and well you don't give a damn about his family values when Sunday shows up and he can't throw that football. Don't bring up he's good guy and he's got a nice family. We respect that, but we don't care once Sunday arrives and it's time for you to throw that football. You can either play or you can't. We can't do that. You can't sit up there and bring up stuff that absolutely positively doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So what? He's got a nice, I don't mean it literally as a human being, but as a football player. So what? He's got a nice family and good family values. You don't give 2 cents about that if he can't throw for a first down or a touchdown. And you know that's true. That's what I'm saying. Don't bring that up. Let's focus on the game. Because they do that to us, Gonzo. They do that to us. What they do is they get us caught up in all of that, and then we've got to preface every damn comment we're going to make by throwing all the platitudes out before we get down to the real evaluation. Don't do that. Focus on the football, okay? I know you heard me. Appreciate it. Livy in Washington, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Livy? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing? How's everything?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right. It's always beautiful when the ladies call the show. You know, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Hey, I love you, Stephen.
Thank you, dear.
My question was, who do you have in a 1v1? Do you have Godzilla or 25,000 crow-sized birds?
Crow-sized birds? Well,
yeah, crow or smaller.
I'm going to go with the 25,000 crow-sized birds. Godzilla is formidable, and he breathes fire, and we get that. But he's still only one. 25,000? Yeah, he can hit the ones in front of him. What about the ones above him, below him, on top of him, behind him, everything? No, 25,000, and crow-sized birds that could pluck you to death? Hell yeah, I'm going with 25,000 birds.
That's fair.
Absolutely. You know, victory in numbers. Victory in numbers.
They get in his eyes. They could get.
How about
get
that?
In places.
They can get in his eyes, his mouth, everything. You got to remember, if you're going to war, you're willing to die. Some of them birds going to be willing to die. They'll go right in his mouth. You understand? Poke him in the eyes, all that stuff. I'm going with them over Godzilla. And by the way, Godzilla wasn't even my favorite. I like King Kong better than Godzilla. That's just me. I'm just saying. Thank you so much, Livy. Appreciate the call. Let's go to one more.
Listen, Stephen, no worries. Thank you.
You take care of yourself. Thank you for the call. Let's go to this last one. Eli in Virginia. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, man?
Yo, how you doing, man?
What's going on? Talk to me. How you doing, Eli?
I just want to ask you a question about what's your favorite Fortnite skin?
I got to tell you this. You know who it is? Renegade Raider.
Oh, yeah, she a baddie. Renegade
Raider. Yes. I'm going to have to go with that. It's old school. One of the originals. I got to go with that. I got to do that. By the way, can I transition? Because, you know, when you're talking about, you know, Fortnite skins, right?
Yep.
You know what? You know, that Renegade Raider, it's an OG skin. We all know that. One of the rarest Fortnite skins. I think.
Yep.
What was that? First ever season, only costing about $1,200.
Season 1.
Let me say this to you. When am I going to get my own? I mean, from what I'm told, what is it? Was it Bruno Mars, somebody that got their own Fortnite skin?
Yeah, we need you in the game.
Where's mine? Where's mine? Where's the love? Where's the love? Stephen A can do that. Stephen A, baby. I want my own Fortnite skin. You got to get on that, Eli. Get it together. Get it together. Could you do that for me?
Yes.
You can make it happen. I believe in you, man. Try, and so will I. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. That's it for this edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm so happy that y'all joined me. Thanks again to the one and only Jay Williams for coming on as a special guest to discuss the brackets for the NCAA tournament, both men and women's, by the way, along with a little NBA action, particularly in the aftermath of the greatness Kyrie Irving put on display Sunday afternoon. Thanks to him again. Obviously, I enjoy y'all watching. I love doing this show for y'all. Keep the support coming, and I'm going to keep on coming. Until next time, everybody, this is Stephen A. signing off. Peace and love. Enjoy your day. See you in a couple of days.